GTA 5 has 11 planes. Every single one of them is lying to you about how fast it should be. So we took the real cruise speeds of the actual aircraft they are based on, and we forced them onto the game. A Cessna got quicker. A Hercules turned into a flying fortress. And one plane went so fast, it left the map completely. One of them refused to work at all. This is every plane in GTA 5 at its real-world speed. If you've ever played GTA, you've probably flown a few of its planes. And if you have, you probably noticed their speeds are nowhere near real aircraft speeds. And honestly, I don't blame Rockstar. GTA 5 was never trying to be a simulator, and the map just isn't big enough for planes to fly at real speeds without crossing it in no time. But what if those same planes flew at the speed of the real aircraft that inspired them? That's exactly what we're finding out today. Since some GTA planes are inspired by 2 or even 3 different aircraft, I'll use an average speed to keep the comparison as fair as possible. And I'll only show a photo of one of those real models to save time. A couple of these identifications are genuinely disputed, so we went with the closest match on the airframe. Before we start, here is exactly how this works, because the details matter. Every test runs in director mode, with the mod menu doing 2 jobs. First, we crank the thrust so the plane reaches its ceiling in seconds instead of crawling up to it across half the map. Second, we kept the top speed at a hard number, the real cruise speed of the aircraft it is based on. Cruise speed, not maximum. Maximum is a number a plane holds for a few minutes with everything screaming. Cruise is what it actually does for hours, and that is the honest comparison. And when a GTA plane is stitched together from 2 or 3 real aircraft, which happens more often than you would think, we take the average so nobody gets an unfair advantage. Top left of the screen tells you which speed you are looking at, stock GTA or the real thing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Part 1. Propellers. The slowest end of the board. We start with the Dodo, one of the most recognizable planes in the entire Grand Theft Auto series. It debuted in GTA 3 and quickly became infamous for being nearly impossible to fly, thanks to those tiny clipped wings that turned it into a real player torture test. Technically, yes, it could fly, but keeping it in the air took a lot of practice and probably therapy. It ended up becoming one of that game's most unforgettable vehicles. Years later, Rockstar redesigned it and brought it back in later entries, like GTA San Andreas, GTA 5, and GTA Online. The Dodo is mainly based on the de Havilland, Canada DHC-2 Beaver, a small utility aircraft built for tough jobs. It was developed in the late 1940s and became famous for taking off and landing on incredibly short runways. For decades, this model carried passengers and cargo through remote parts of Canada and Alaska. The Beaver was built to go where runways do not exist. Swap the wheels for floats or skis, and it lands on lakes, gravel, and snow. 75 years on, bush pilots in Alaska are still flying them. For this task, I'll be using a mod menu. First, I'll boost the plane's thrust so it hits top speed in a few seconds. Then cap that speed to match its real-life counterpart. Its cruise speed sits around 230 kilometers per hour. So that's the number I'll use to tweak the plane in GTA 5. The change is not as dramatic as you might expect. It is still one of the slowest aircraft in the whole comparison. But now, it feels much more like a small plane, built for short, relaxed flights. Next up is the Cuban 800, one of the best-known light aircraft in the GTA universe. It debuted in GTA San Andreas, and since then, it has shown up in almost every major game in the series except GTA 4, becoming a familiar sight at small airfields and rough rural strips. In Rockstar's world, it is usually used for private transport, light cargo flights, and even a few smuggling-related missions. A twin-engine prop plane built to cover medium distances without making a huge fuss. The Cuban 800 is mainly based on the Cessna 310, an American twin-engine aircraft used for decades in both civilian and military aviation, mixed with some visual touches from the Piper Apache line. The real 310 had a second career on television. In the later seasons of Sky King, it was Songbird, which made it one of the most recognizable light twins in America. That is a lot of fame for a plane most people cannot name. Its cruise speed sits at around 380 kilometers per hour, which is way faster than what GTA 5 gives us. Once that speed is applied, the plane picks up pace much harder, and the trips feel a lot more natural. Even though we are still far from the big jets, it finally starts feeling like a real city-to-city trip. It is not a jet, but it finally stops feeling like a toy. The Mamadas first showed up in GTA 5 and quickly became one of the easiest light aircraft to fly. Its design feels straight out of flight school, where the goal is not insane speed, but a stable, predictable ride for pilots still learning the ropes. That is exactly why it feels so calm in game. It is light, easy to handle, and perfect for lazy cruises over Los Santos and Blaine County. The Mamadas is mainly inspired by the Beechcraft Bonanza, with some of the famous Cessna 172S high-wing DNA mixed in. The 172 is the most produced aircraft in history. Over 45,000 built, and they are still building them. In 1958, 2 pilots kept one airborne for 64 days straight, refueling from a moving truck. That record has never been beaten. The Beechcraft Bonanza is one of the most successful civilian aircraft ever built. In continuous production since the late 40s, it cruises at around 330 kilometers per hour. The Bonanza has been in continuous production since 1947. Nothing else in aviation comes close. The early V-tail version also earned a darker nickname, the Doctor Killer, because it was fast enough to fly wealthy amateurs into weather they could not handle. Once you bring that speed into the game, it is obvious this thing was never built to break records. It still feels stable and pleasant, giving you a relaxed flight that fits exactly what this plane was made for. Unlike the earlier light aircraft, the Mallard was built with aerobatics in mind. And from its first appearances, it was clear its job was not hauling passengers, but giving you a totally different flying experience. Its sharp handling lets you pull tight turns, fly inverted, and throw in the kind of moves you usually see at air shows. In-game, it nails that personality, reacting almost instantly to every tiny pilot input. The Mallard is mainly inspired by the Extra 300, one of the world's most successful aerobatic planes and a longtime star of Red Bull Air Race events. The Extra 300 is stressed for plus and minus 10 G. Not the pilot, the airframe. The pilot gives out first. That is why it spent years as the workhorse of the Red Bull Air Race. Its cruise speed sits around 320 kilometers per hour, though during airshow maneuvers it can spike up to roughly 410 kilometers per hour. Once that speed is applied inside GTA 5, the plane's handling barely changes, but it definitely feels like it has more punch. It still does not get anywhere near jet speeds, but its real sweet spot is clearly that cruise pace. From this point on, we leave prop planes behind and step into the world of jets. Part 2. Jets. Now the numbers climb. The Luxor debuted in GTA 5 as the ultimate executive jet, and it quickly became one of the game's go-to symbols of luxury. Its sleek design, twin-jet engines, and exclusive interior instantly set it apart from the other civilian aircraft, although in GTA 5, it is already considerably faster than any other aircraft. Its speed is still kept, so it actually fits GTA 5's map. The Luxor is mainly based on the Cessna Citation X, a long-range private business jet once considered the fastest civilian business aircraft in the world. That plane cruises at nearly 970 kilometers per hour, brushing right up against Mach 0.93. For years, the Citation X was the fastest civil business jet in the world, Mach 0.92, and the later X Plus pushed that to 0.935. Outside of Concorde, nothing in civilian aviation flew closer to the speed of sound. Once you apply that speed inside GTA 5, the difference is obvious the second it gets moving. The acceleration jumps hard, and the scenery starts flying past way faster than before. Now it actually feels like a proper executive jet, the kind built to connect cities in no time. The Titan first appeared in GTA 5, and since then it has been the game's main military transport aircraft. Its massive size and 4 engines instantly set it apart, selling the role of hauling vehicles, supplies, and troops. Unlike fighter jets, the Titan was never built for aggressive maneuvers. Its job is to move massive amounts of cargo while staying stable in the air, just like real heavy military transports. The Titan is based on the Lockheed C-130 Hercules, probably the most famous military transport plane ever built. Since its first flight in 1954, it has kept serving with dozens of air forces around the world. With its huge payload and ridiculous reliability, its cruise speed sits around 590 kilometers per hour. In 1963, the US Navy wanted to know whether a Hercules could land on an aircraft carrier. So they tried it. 21 full-stop landings on the USS Forrestal. No tailhook, no catapult. It is still the largest aircraft ever to land on a carrier deck. Bring that speed into GTA 5, and the Titan finally starts to feel as imposing as the Hercules. Its acceleration still feels heavy because of that massive size, but once it reaches cruise speed, it turns into a proper flying fortress, crossing long distances with rock-solid stability. The cargo plane is easily the largest aircraft you can find in GTA 5. It only shows up in very specific missions and situations, but that massive fuselage instantly tells you it was built to haul absurdly heavy cargo. Its huge size makes it take off slowly and demand long runways. And Rockstar actually captured that pretty well in-game. I mean the plane itself, since we already know the airports are way too small for this thing to take off properly. The cargo plane is mainly based on the Antonov AN-124 Ruslan, one of the biggest strategic cargo aircraft ever built. Developed in the 1980s, it was made to carry heavy military machinery, vehicles, and huge loads that simply could not fit in a normal plane. Its cruise speed sits at around 850 kilometers per hour. The AN-124 kneels. The nose gear drops the whole front of the aircraft to the ground, so cargo rolls straight in. It has carried locomotives, generators, and other aircraft. The even bigger AN-225 grew out of its design. When you apply that speed inside GTA 5, the contrast is wild. Despite its massive size, once it hits cruise speed, it starts moving with way more agility than GTA 5 normally suggests, showing why aircraft like this can haul hundreds of tons across entire continents. The jet fills the commercial airliner role in GTA 5. It never gets a specific name in-game, but its silhouette is clearly based on the huge passenger planes used by major airlines worldwide. Its role in the game is mostly background detail. Most players barely ever use it, but its sheer size still makes it one of the most impressive aircraft in GTA 5. The jet is mainly based on the Boeing 747-400. Its cruise speed sits at around 910 kilometers per hour. The wingspan of a 747 is longer than the entire distance of the Wright brothers' first flight. The first powered flight in history would have been over before it cleared one wingtip. So we plugged that speed into the game and took it for a test run. Guys, I think I've got a problem here, because when I try to apply that speed to this plane, the plane is simply built to fly slow. Because if I try to speed up, look, it dives nose first. And no matter how hard I pull up, I can't save it. So, sadly, I have to scrap this one and move on to the next. Now we were finally getting into the supersonic planes. Part 3. Supersonic. The map shrinks fast. This time, it's the Bezra's turn. It debuted in GTA 5 as a military training jet. It doesn't come with built-in weapons, but it was made to prepare pilots before they jump into much more advanced fighter jets. Its compact size and clean aerodynamics are this plane's biggest strengths. And with that tight maneuverability, it is one of the most fun aircraft to fly in the game. The Bezra is based mainly on the Northrop F-5 Freedom Fighter, along with jet trainers like the Casa C-101. Aircraft like this are used by plenty of air forces around the world, both for advanced training and light combat squadrons. The F-5's most famous job was pretending to be the enemy. It flew as the aggressor in fighter training for decades. And in the original Top Gun, the MiG-28 was an F-5 wearing black paint. Its level cruise speed sits at around 1,700 kilometers per hour. Once you apply that speed inside GTA 5, the Bezra becomes a much more demanding machine. Its behavior changes completely. Every move demands way more precision, and the map starts shrinking fast under the plane, finally feeling close to a real military jet. The Hydra is probably one of the most famous aircraft in the entire Grand Theft Auto series. It debuted in GTA San Andreas and quickly became the vehicle everyone wanted, thanks to its ability to take off and land vertically. Since then, it has returned in GTA Online. Keeping the same mix of maneuverability, weapons, and speed that made it so popular, the Hydra is inspired by a blend of the legendary AV-8B Harrier II and the F-35B Lightning II. Fighter jets capable of vertical takeoffs or launching from ultra-short runways using vectored thrust systems. Harrier pilots invented a move called VIFing, vectoring in forward flight. You rotate the thrust nozzles mid-dogfight, the aircraft slams on the brakes in midair, and whoever is chasing you overshoots straight into your gun sight. In level flight, its top speed is around 2,000 kilometers per hour, and 2,000 is generous, by the way. The Harrier half of this thing is subsonic. It is the F-35 half that gets you anywhere near that number. After applying that speed inside GTA 5, the plane instantly feels way more spectacular. the acceleration jumps massively and crossing the whole map starts taking barely a couple of minutes. Much closer to what an actual military attack jet should feel like. And now we reach the final plane in this comparison, the P996 Laser. Since GTA 5, it has basically become the ultimate fighter jet of the whole franchise. Its mix of speed, handling, and heavy firepower quickly made it one of the most wanted vehicles among players, especially because it sits locked down inside the military base at Fort Zancudo. Even more than 10 years later, it is still seen as one of the best combat aircraft in the entire series. The P996 Laser is mainly inspired by the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon, one of the most successful and widely produced modern fighter jets. Introduced in the late 1970s, the F-16 is still active in dozens of countries, thanks to its ridiculous maneuverability. The F-16 was the first production fighter deliberately built to be aerodynamically unstable. Left alone, it would tumble out of the sky. A computer corrects it dozens of times a second, and that instability is exactly what lets it turn the way it does. In real life, its top speed goes past 2,120 kilometers per hour. The result is, by far, the wildest change in this whole comparison. The GTA 5 map basically disappears under the plane in seconds. And for the first time, you really see the huge gap between the game scale and the real speed of a modern fighter jet. And since we're this far in, I've got one bonus plane to show you. It is not originally in the game, and you've probably seen it in old GTA 5 mods or videos. But why not bring it in here too and test its speed? Alright, the plane I wanted to show you is this one. Bonus, the one plane that isn't in the game at all. It is the legendary Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, a strategic reconnaissance aircraft built in the 60s. And it still holds the record for the fastest crewed plane ever. This Cold War beast does not carry weapons. Its only defense against enemy missiles was literally to speed up and leave them behind. It could hit a savage 3,500 kilometers per hour and fly so high, the pilots had to wear spacesuits. Over 4,000 missiles were fired at SR-71s. Not one ever hit. The evasive maneuver was to accelerate, and on the ground, it leaked fuel because the panels only sealed once friction heated the airframe enough to expand it. When you give it that real speed in GTA 5, you take off, and before you even realize it, you're outside the game's limits. Testing this thing makes it painfully obvious why the Lockheed SR-71 played in a league no other plane in history could touch. It does feel kind of weird to fly, you know. I actually had to tweak a few things in the mod menu so it could hit that speed and still maneuver properly. There is a reason Rockstar had to slow all of this down, and it is not laziness. It is geometry. The GTA 5 map is roughly 80 square kilometers. Corner to corner, you are looking at something like 13 kilometers of usable airspace. At the F-16's real top speed, that is about 22 seconds coast to coast. The SR-71 does it in 13, which means at real speeds, half the flight missions in this game stop being missions. You would arrive before the briefing finished. Rockstar did not nerf the planes. They resized them to fit the world. After testing every aircraft, it's pretty clear Rockstar seriously cut their speeds to fit the size of the map. If every plane kept its real speed, crossing Los Santos would take just a few minutes, and a lot of missions would be basically impossible to enjoy. Still, running this experiment makes the difference between each aircraft way clearer, and shows why a real airliner or modern fighter can cover hundreds of kilometers so fast. And honestly, after seeing them all at their real speeds, it is hard to fly them the same way in GTA 5 again. So here is the whole board, ranked by the real speed each plane should have had. Dodo, 230. Mallard, 320. Mamatus, 330. Cuban, 800. 380. Titan, 590. Cargo plane, 850. Jet, 910. Luxor, 970. Bezra, 1700. Hydra, 2000. Laser, 2120. And the Blackbird, 3500. The asterisk goes to the jet. The 747 is the only aircraft here that physically refused the experiment. Push it past its stock speed and it noses over and dives every time. It was built to fly slow and it will not be talked out of it. Slowest to fastest, that is a 15-fold spread. In stock GTA 5, the same 11 planes sit inside a much narrower band. That gap is the whole video. Strip the speed limits out, and you learn something about the game. The map is not a world, it is a set. Everything in it is scaled to be crossed at a pace that keeps missions playable. It also means that once you have seen a Hercules move like a Hercules, going back to the stock version feels wrong. If you want more of these, the rest of our GTA files are on the channel.